Hey, I'm Josh with JW Crates and the Judge by the Cover podcast, and I want to take a few minutes and share some of my favorite clips from the show and hopefully get you excited to go and check out some of our full-length episodes. Judge by the Cover is all about cover art and music discovery, so go on a journey with us as we discover this world together. Starting in January of 2025, we are going to go to weekly drops with the expectation of having a new episode go live every Friday. So make sure you hit those follow and subscribe buttons so you can stay in touch with the show. In the meantime, check out some of our greatest hits. Have you heard the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover? But that's what people do, right? We judge everything by outward appearances. In my experience, a great album cover can make or break the decision on whether I buy an album. So go on a journey with me as we look at some great album cover designs and talk about why I believe that you need a personal designer for your album artwork. This is Judged by the Cover. Man, this is a cool record.
I love it, man. I love that this show makes me get into new music.
What I love is the excitement that came from just listening to this album that I just picked up because I love the album art.
And also, kudos to you for buying this thing for $10 at the local record store. Thank goodness for local record stores, by the way. Let's
preach. So it's really cool. It's really fun. It's really whimsical. And it just kind of, it drew me in. Like, I'll be honest. It's one of those covers where I did not expect the music to sound like it did by looking at the cover.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe something kind of fun and folky, or maybe even like really poppy, synthy.
Right.
Right here, I've got an example of this is actually for a single. It's called The Dose by the man himself, Phil Hyland. And this is just an example of a cover that we designed that is technically a photo of photos.
Yeah.
When you sent this to me, and when we were talking about the cover for this song, it was written during this time period when you guys got these photos, correct? Right. And the song is not exactly about Robin, but she is kind of the main inspiration for the song. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so it was just these photos where it has you two during that time period. And it just captures a moment. And I think that's the thing that photos can do, is it captures a moment. I kind of love this like tension, like, why is he there?
Yeah.
And it just gives you these feelings of like maybe not feeling like you belong, or exploration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just this powerful imagery and stuff.
But, I also got a sense of discovery with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's this astronaut. What do astronauts do? They go a great distance to explore because they're curious, or they feel like they're being called.
Yeah.
And that's the sense I get. I think this composition is really, like, I'm intrigued. When I was a kid, it was like my Pandora was, we'd go to the music store. I'd have $10 in my pocket from cutting grass earlier that morning. And whatever the owner of Plan 9 records and tapes in Richmond, Virginia had on, he'd be playing stuff like, hey, I want the kids to listen to this. And be like, dude, what's that playing right now? And like, oh, that's U2, like their first album, to date myself.
Yeah.
But that's how we found out about new music. Or they had the posters all up in the big glass windows when you walked in. So before you went in, you're kind of like that kid looking at the glass windows, and you got your $10 in your pocket, and you're like, oh wow, that looks really cool.
I was going to ask, so like, how has his taste of music and just his love for music, how has that like influenced your love for music?
So my dad started like really getting into vinyl. I was in high school.
Wow,
and
perfect time.
The band that caught my attention, I actually have a tattoo, is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Right on.
And I remember I think I was in 11th grade, and I had the Californication album on vinyl playing on my turntable, and my mom walks in and she's like, why are you listening to a song about fornication?
Oh no!
And I'm like, what's that?
But what we got going on today is we are going to be, we've got a pro panel here, and we're going to be judging cover art. Judged by the cover.
Judged by the cover.
It's like built into the name or something.
Back to your roots, right? Back to the roots of the show.
And so what we're doing is we're really just trying to get some different opinions on cover art and just wanting to see kind of how widely it's going to vary in opinion. I'm really surprised nobody talked about the coyotes that are running in the background here.
Oh,
They're really mischievous. I like those guys.
Part of me wants to know if like all of them symbolize a song on the record, because I love like symbolism, cool. And so it would be really cool if that was the case, if each thing tied into, because it looks like a mess.
If that is the
in
case,
the front,
then I'd like to change my number and raise it.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying.
Anytime I've seen a cover that does that,
so
that
cool.
actually like incorporates the songs, like you know that a lot of time and effort went into the creation of that.
Yeah.
So.
Dark Side of the Moon, even if you don't know this album or even think that you've heard, because you probably have heard something off this album just because of how prolific it was. Yeah. You have seen the imagery from this album cover.
You can go to Target and buy the t-shirt now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and one of the articles I was reading, they talked about how even at this time, you know, that you could probably walk past Roger Waters on the street and not know who he was for, you know, the average person. Yeah. But they know what this is.
Oh, yeah. Maybe this beam, the single white line going into the prism is just like the individual band members. And then this spectrum comes out when they get together, playing together and writing together.
Yeah.
And the music manifests being shot through this prism. And that's what you get, man. When you hear this music, it's almost like it's like a colorful palette of sound.